ranking every fight in Dragon Ball Super by Totally Not Mark. If you haven't seen, I already did the reaction to the one where he did all the fights in Dragon Ball Z, gave my thoughts and opinions on those, and we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing for this video, bruh. Now, he had some opinions that were maybe a little bit controversial in the last one. He had things such as, like, you know, the Goku versus Majin Vegeta fight in the Buu Saga, only like a B tier, shit like that. You know, I'm gonna give my thoughts and opinions as we go on through this list if I feel like he's spitting some bullshit. Because he was spitting a little bit of bullshit in that last one. But it's okay. The ones that are super iconic and need to be Z tier or S tier, whatever it was, they were up there. So I ain't gonna get mad at them too much. Anyway, let's go ahead and proceed with this video. Without further ado, let's get it.
We are now 2 videos deep in my series of ranking every single fight in
That's a lot of fights to go through, bro.
Dragon Ball, the classic series, then it was Dragon Ball Z.
I didn't react to the Dragon Ball one because I already watched that one off camera.
Dragon Ball Super. The rules.
So I wasn't about to do a fake reaction.
Number 1, the fights need to be canon. Number 2, they also have to take place on screen. Number 3,
there are no rules.
And number 4,
he did that last
this
time.
particular series, I'm just gonna focus on the anime for Super. I'm serious. I'm already doing the TV show.
Yeah, don't do the anime and the manga. That's goofy.
The last thing I need to be dealing with right now are the pre-Super films. So in the event that there are 2 versions of a given fight, like Goku versus Beerus on King Kai's World, for example, instead of ranking them both, I will just choose the best one and rank that. So with a massive caveat out of the way,
the movie version was definitely way better.
Right after this, I'll be ranking the top 20 fights across the entire series.
I seen that he uploaded that.
Number 1 will be.
I'm gonna react to that too.
It's time for Dragon Ball Super.
Hey,
I'm gonna have to go through this series a little bit differently than I have with the others. Mostly because Dragon Ball
bold outlines
alone has more fights than both classic Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z combined.
Damn.
Does that equate to quality? Almost certainly not.
No, not at all.
Through the particularly dense sections. Most notably, the Tournament of Power, where the transforms from a nerdy undertaking into an exercise in cruel and unusual self-inflicted torture.
Yeah.
You'll probably notice most of my picks on this list involve a dramatic move or transformation. And the game I've been playing lately.
Nice try, brother. We'll do this in. Oh, I seen Zamasu. Okay, nope. Yeah, because we ain't even at Zamasu yet. We'll do this in. Here we go. Oh my, come on, man.
A lot of bottom tier here.
Them OG episodes, animation was ass.
In this arc alone, 7 of them.
23 alone? Damn.
Goten and Trunks versus the giant snake.
Okay,
versus his
I guess.
Robot. Yamcha and Piccolo training in the background, technically. Vegeta versus a giant squid. Beerus and Buu versus Mr. Satan when they poke him away. It's pretty funny.
Okay.
Versus Oolong.
I guess that counts as a fight.
And Super Saiyan Mr. Satan versus not Beerus.
Head ass.
There are some blink and you miss them moments, but there are others like Goten and Trunks versus the giant snake and Vegeta versus the giant
I like when they fought that giant snake.
Plain boring. And so what I think
it was boring.
Apart from the others in the series up until now is that it was designed to be a movie. And so all of these other fights feel hollow and superficial, like they're there just to pad the story. For instance, E tier alone.
That's literally what it was there for. That's why the first part of Dragon Ball Super from the beginning all the way through the Tournament of the Destroyers was just like, most of that shit was just ass because not Tournament of Destroyers, leading up to the Tournament of Destroyers. You know what I'm saying? That shit was just ass because it was like, bro, we already seen the movie, so now do we know everything gonna happen? Now you gotta pad it out to fill out like an anime schedule, and it's like, bro, we don't care about none of this other shit going on because we already know what the big fights are. You know what I'm saying? When you don't know what the big events are and you can lead up to it, the smaller shit is like, okay, you know what I'm saying? But when you know that you got the big fights coming, you don't want to watch these smaller fights, and that's the effect that we had to deal with when we was watching the arcs over again. So I tell everybody, if you're gonna watch Dragon Ball Super for the first time, watch Battle of Gods, watch Resurrection of F, and then just skip straight to the Tournament of Destroyers with hitting them.
Has 8 entries. The weird.
Don't watch them first 2 arcs, bro.
Versus the dinosaur.
In the anime.
Goku versus Goku's Kamehameha. Does that count as a fight? Maybe not.
No.
Buu versus Beerus. Gotenks, the Z Fighters, and Gohan versus Beerus. Mr. Satan versus the Alien Dogman. Goku versus Krillin. It's one punch. Mr. Satan versus Great Saiyaman, and Goku and Vegeta versus Whis.
Yeah.
None of these are particularly spectacular, but just like that, 15 out of the 23 fights in this arc are of quite a low standard.
Yeah.
However, Battle of Gods is great, and thankfully, we have some great entries to consider moving forward.
Okay.
Episode 2 introduces us to Beerus properly, and from it we get this dance with this strange alien.
I remember that.
Surprisingly decent and introduces the concept of the Super Saiyan God dream. Furthermore, Beerus' subjugation of King Vegeta and his slap on Bulma demonstrates what sort of impact a character like him can have on
I still like the slap better in the movie.
populated. Also, Goku versus Mr. Satan's fake punch is funny as shit. I'm putting it in here too.
Oh, wow.
Go into D tier. From there,
Okay.
you can skip past C tier and go straight to B tier, surprisingly, with Goku and Vegeta versus Sleeping
Beerus,
The same way I adored Mr. Satan versus Majin Buu in the prior video, this is one of the many reasons.
No, he grabbed him and put him in
Dragon Ball
in that
Super
leg
is
lock,
one
bro.
of my favorites. It is so funny. And pushing past that, we can dive straight into A tier with Goku versus Beerus on King Kai's world. Yep,
Yeah.
you heard me right. And of course,
Go to the
Vegeta
movie version
versus
for that.
Beerus. While the fight between Goku and Beerus in episode 5 is memed into oblivion due to how it unfortunately looked.
Oh my God, look at that.
Structurally, it's a much more interesting clash than the film offered. Whether intentional
What?
or not, the way Goku cycles through the various forms he's acquired creates a clear ego he needs to overcome.
I don't know if I
One
agree.
that
I like the movie
almost
version better.
stands in contrast to his presentation of the transformations in the Buu saga. Only this time it, doesn't work. Plus, it's not like the fight looks bad from start to finish in the anime anyway. The Super Saiyan 3 stuff to this day, I think, looks great in sections. And switching gears to Vegeta versus Beerus now, what can I say that hasn't already been said? This is another brilliant moment in vulnerability from Vegeta brought on by his love for his wife. It is awesome.
Got to see it for the first time.
Finally, we have Goku
But we seen it for the first time in the movie.
too, and that is going into S tier. I'm torn between
Okay.
which I prefer more, the movie or the anime version.
The movie
On one
version.
hand, the movie has the more iconic moments, but on the other,
Ooh,
the anime
that shot was so fire.
feels more like a Dragon Ball bout, so to speak. At any rate, I
don't care
there are
about that.
some really strong moments of characterization for Goku in this, some creative use of environments, and a ton of visual.
Come on, man. You got the I went out to destroy my world shit.
Resurrection F is lighter on the battles, and there are fewer bottom tier entries too. Making up Resurrection F's bottom tier is Piccolo's sacrifice, again for Gohan, versus Frieza, and a short cutaway shot at Goku and Vegeta training on Beerus' world in episode 23. Moving on to E tier, we have a bunch. Goku versus Vegeta, episode 20. Piccolo and
Yeah, when they first experienced that blue power.
Tanks versus Tagoma. Z Fighters versus Ginyu Tagoma. Gohan versus Ginyu Tagoma. You're seeing the pattern here, the Tagoma stuff. To be
Get
honest,
Tagoma out of here, bro.
the idea of Ginyu coming back for one last hurrah and how this
Hey, it was fire when we was watching it though. Don't get it twisted.
bag is a fitting
But get him outta
way
here.
to elevate a minor antagonist for some mid-arc conflict. Kicking off D tier, however, we have our third and final cutaway to Goku and Vegeta training. There's also some immediate characterization for Frieza following his resurrection through lasering Tagoma, Gohan's immediate loss to Frieza, which created a nice bit of tension, and of course, Vegeta versus Ginyu Tagoma, which rounds out his collection of Ginyu Force scalps. In addition to those, squeezing their way into C tier, we have Frieza versus the Frieza Force in the movie, which
You gonna
again
count
was a
that.
striking piece of characterization for the Tyrant, and the brief but massively controversial and impactful Goku versus Sorbet.
Oh my God. That's not a fight,
Personally, I'm
bro.
more of a story guy, but I do think the anime took that criticism and rectified the issue by powering down Goku to base right before. I think that works better. Alrighty, time for some.
Well, okay, so like, you know, it's that whole deal about how Dragon Ball characters are like, they have regular durability when they're off guard. It's their key that lets them boost it up to be the levels that it is. But when they're off guard, their durability is regular. And they had just talked about Goku letting his guard down all the time before that moment happened. So like, it was, you know what I'm saying? We hinted at it and then it actually happened. That's why he was able to do the do-over, and it was like, okay, have you learned your lesson? He still ain't fully learned a lesson after that. But I mean, you know, he was taking steps toward it. It was also like, you know, hinting at him eventually learning Ultra Instinct at that moment, with him being able to avoid danger, even if he's not actually paying attention. We can get into how, you know, Goku's training, even from a kid, led up to him eventually learning Ultra Instinct. It was the perfect style for him. That's why he learned it. That's not what's important here right now. The point is, I don't think that it was that bad in the movie, even with him being blue when he first got shot. Because it made sense. He was off guard. He had powered down. He didn't power down the base, but you know what I'm saying.
Really solid fights now. B tier has 2 entries. The Z Fighters versus the new Frieza Force from the film.
Put him in B tier. I ain't mad at it.
Character moments, Master Roshi's experience and guidance for the likes of Krillin, Gohan's protective nature, and of course Piccolo's imposing presence. It's
Yeah.
all wonderful stuff. Similarly, Vegeta.
That whole little sequence was
finds
fire.
its way into B tier. Also, had this been longer or more substantial,
This movie was fire.
being a solid A or even S tier entry. Right? But alas, it was not. Still,
He just
though,
whipped
it
his
is
ass.
plenty cathartic seeing Frieza realize in real time how truly screwed he was. Literally on his knees, thanks to the Saiyan Prince. And finally, we have Goku versus Frieza from the film, and I considered
Where you gonna
putting
put
this into A tier, but after removing my distaste for the film,
Okay.
the fight,
I was gonna say that. He mentioned it in the past he didn't really like this
S
movie.
tier. While
Thank
the
you.
film is plagued with pacing,
Because I was gonna say S tier too. I thought he was gonna put it in A.
structure, really. The actual fight of Goku versus Frieza is brilliant with some of the best visual storytelling Dragon Ball has to offer. The entire solution to the fight against Frieza is communicated through the action and combat itself, while also coming packaged with the single best.
Ooh, that shit was fire. Didn't they say Toriyama went through like frame by frame for that movie and like checked all the animation to make sure that shit was like spot on? There was like not a single frame that was out of whack. I don't know if he did that for Battle of Gods, but I think they said something about him doing that for Resurrection F.
Finally, we are out of those pesky movie recaps and
Let's
onto
go.
something new and brilliant.
U6, U7 tournament.
Oh god, no. While this arc might only have 5 bottom tier entries in Beerus versus Goku and Vegeta when they're
Okay.
in clothing, Beerus versus Champa, Goten and Trunks.
It was just the animation that made that ass.
Alien copies, Gotenks versus Copy Vegeta.
Fuck the Copy
It has
Vegeta shit,
also
bro.
the most E tier entries thus far by a wide margin.
Damn.
9 entries. While some of them are short moments of combat, like Gohan versus Piccolo, Jocko versus Frogman, Goku versus Monaka, Frost versus Pit, Pan versus the Pilaf Gang, you know, you get the picture. There
Yeah.
are other fights that were meant to be more, but ultimately didn't hit the mark for me. Fights like Goku versus
Yeah, like they tried to give us that Copy Vegeta shit. Like, oh, this is Goku versus Vegeta, but since it's not really Vegeta, Goku has no reason to hold back. And since it has all the powers of Vegeta, this is the representation of Goku and Vegeta going all out again. Like, get the fuck out of here. It's not the same.
Botamo.
It ain't the same.
felt both awkward as well as a weak start to the
It wasn't
first
actually
tournament
Vegeta.
in 2 decades for the series. And of course, we have Goku versus Copy Vegeta.
Get that
I
shit
will,
outta here.
however, say that the English dub's use of Brian Drummond for Jelly Vegeta was an inspired choice that did
Oh yeah,
make this
forgot about that. They did use his original voice actor for this fight. I completely forgot that that was the thing that even happened. I haven't gone back and watched all of Dragon Ball Super in dub yet. I was watching it when it was coming out. Obviously, it was in sub when that was happening. But I did go back and watch some of the fights. It's one of the ones I did watch because people were like, yo, Vegeta's OG voice actor from like way back before it was Christopher Sabat was voicing him in this. And I'm like, damn, for real? And it was. That's fire.
terribly for me. Thankfully, outside of Botamo, the tournament has a relatively high standard, all things considered. Monaka versus Hit being the second lowest shouldn't come as a surprise really to anyone given
Duh.
its length, but for what it is, I think it sticks the landing. D tier. Piccolo versus Frost also finds its way into D tier. For me,
Yeah.
it just wasn't as good as I thought it should have been. Coming in at C tier, we have Goku.
You could tell they were saving the budget for the big fights in Dragon Ball Super. That's the part that sucked about it, bro.
Its structure is its use of dramatic.
Like, can y'all imagine Dragon Ball? I'm sorry I keep pausing, but can y'all imagine Dragon Ball Super with Dragon Ball Daima levels of animation? Oh my God. Dragon Ball Daima looked fucking amazing the entire time, bro. That animation was top tier. Imagine if Dragon Ball Super had that animation, bro. Remake Dragon Ball Z with Daima animation. Please. That would be lovely, bro. It's never gonna happen, but oh my God, wouldn't that be something?
Irony to pull the wool over our eyes as audience members. Goku's position as this
Beat his ass.
godlike figure of dominance for obvious reasons that we're all aware of, but Frost isn't. Going as far as to offer him advice midways through the fight. But Frost still had his number. Well, okay, he cheated, but the fact remained,
Cheating ass.
no one at home saw that coming, and I know that because I saw people talking about it and no one had a friggin' idea. Vegeta versus Frost similarly falls into C tier, mostly because by this point we were excited to see something other than Frost, and for him to get defeated by the same prince no less was plenty. Also in C tier, and perhaps surprisingly, I'm putting Beerus dressed as Monaka versus Goku.
Okay.
It's just a whole mess.
It
of
was
fun
funny.
and requires the whole gang to come together to distract Goku. It's
Yeah.
a fun premise. Also, the camera panning to the group and Poir being Beerus is so funny to me.
Right.
And finally, to round out C tier, we've got Vegeta versus
whooped
Hit.
Vegeta's
There's no
ass.
lot
Hit
to this
told
fight, but
Vegeta
what it does do really
apart,
well is
bro.
establish the Rubik's Cube that is Hit and the techniques he relies upon. That mystery element held my
Got that in C tier? I ain't mad at it.
attention leading into the subsequent round. Now, moving on to something a little better, we've got
Okay.
Vegeta versus Vegeta finding its way into B tier. There's not much I can say about this other
The
than
animation
a
was good.
solid traditional fight with just enough stipulation to make it interesting.
Yeah.
Also, Vegeta's weakness being insults is funny as hell.
That shit was
Brings us
funny.
to the final two entries from this arc. Vegeta versus Kaba is an easy A entry.
I was gonna say, please don't say B tier, bro. From everything going on to Vegeta teaching Tarbo how to go Super Saiyan, using it, you know, his methods, but he taught him how to go Super Saiyan, to it being like a thing where it was like, yo, why is Vegeta acting like this with this dude? Oh, damn. Vegeta was the prince of all Saiyans. He was about to be a king one day. He probably had it in his mind, like, you know, he had it in him, instilled in him that he was gonna be one day leading Saiyan soldiers and possibly even teaching lessons to young Saiyans coming up trying to, you know, learn how to battle. He never really got to have the experience of being a king and leading any Saiyans. You know, I guess he led Nappa and fucking Raditz, but whatever. He never really got to have that experience for real. Nappa's older than him, so that don't count. Anyway, y'all get what I'm saying. So, you know, he got to live that. He got to live that little moment. That's why he got that little connection with Kappa.
What it lacks in complexity,
A tier for sure.
It more than makes up for with.
And for the moment,
for both Vegeta
if the moment factors in,
there are
S tier.
strong moments in this exchange, and it's one of my favorites from this tour.
Which is ranking the fight A tier.
The favorite. That accolade goes
Come on,
to-
man. Come on, man.
Again, in truly
Was there any
Dragon Ball,
question?
The final battle ranks the highest. Though I'm conflicted about whether I should put this in S tier or not.
Bitch, this is an S tier fight.
Easily S tier. I love the way Goku conserves his energy and relies on his instincts to figure hit out. It is so fun and interesting.
Goku's showing that genius.
Perfectly in keeping with Goku's character. However, once that
That was one of the biggest flexes ever to me, bro. Like, of Goku's battle genius. That whole moment where Goku's like, yeah, I figured you out. Now I can power up and we can fight regular because I know what you're going to do. And Hit was like, I mean, what if I just change it up on you? Like, what if I just fight it a little differently? Change up my timings. Goku was like, nah, you ain't going to do that. Old habits die hard. Let's get this shit. And he was right. It was just like, yeah, this man knows combat in and out.
interesting to watch while also being perfect.
Like, you ain't gonna change up shit on me.
Goku's character. However, once that section subsides, it's just a lot of meaningless fighting until the big Kaioken moment. And don't get me wrong,
when he brought that
moment
shit
is
back.
incredible, but is
Oh my God.
elevate the second half of the fight.
At that time, we hadn't seen Kaioken since the Namek saga, bro. So him bringing that back and stacking it on top of Super Saiyan Blue, oh my God, S tier all over the place. Big old fat ass S tier.
Maybe.
Stop
Screw
playing
putting it in S
with
tier.
Son Goku. Black, y'all, yeah.
More fights to deal with. But that's okay because
Yeah, this arc was fat as hell.
Universe 6 tourney. In total,
There are a lot of people that are of the opinion that Dragon Ball Super should have just started with the Goku Black arc. I ain't gonna say all that, but you know, it was a great fucking arc.
this segment of the series has 58 fights. 19 of
God
which go
damn,
straight into
58,
bottom tier.
boy.
These include, but are not limited
And they
to
fought these motherfuckers like 3-4 times before they finally beat them.
Beerus versus Champa, Goku and Trunks versus Earth's army, Zeno
Oh my
and
God.
Trunks' timeline, as well as several other much smaller conflicts, most of which are entirely forgettable, and I will be going back to doing just that with them now. E tier, unfortunately, isn't exactly light on numbers either, totaling 16 entries.
Ooh.
These again include, but are not limited
This
to
arc was fat, man.
versus Whis from episode 47, Trunks' flashback versus Dabura, Goku Black versus Trunks in episode 51, Vegeta versus his training robots, as well as a dozen permutations of Goku Black and Zamasu
Yeah.
offering serviceable antics. If you are interested,
They fought
in
them so many
scores for
times.
all of the 35 bottom and E tier entries, you can pause now while the editors throw them on screen.
Okay, I'm gonna pause again too, just so y'all can look at it a little more. Those are all the E tiers. All right, let's go.
Alrighty, now that we've got that out of the way, let's move into D tier, which has 7 entries. Vegeta
Okay.
versus Goku Black round. Goku Black versus Chi-Chi and Goten.
Come on, bro.
Versus Goku Black and Zamasu. Goku and Vegeta versus Fuse Zamasu. Arale versus Vegeta, and this might surprise you, Trunks versus Fused Zamasu.
Oh, at the end?
Major fight of the arc. It is trying
D tier?
so hard to be emotionally powerful and poignant. The animation is solid and the artwork is crisp.
I don't know if I agree with that one, brother.
God, this is in so
At least B tier.
of the story. Even if we ignore the scaling of this, and sweet baby Jesus, do I want to do that? This episode treats Deus Ex Machina as an Olympic sport. A spirit sword?
Okay.
Absolutely not. This fight manages to get into D tier for its sentiment and cool visuals, nothing else. C tier.
Man, I don't know about all that, brother.
Moments like Goku Black killing Bulma and Beerus's Hakkaiing Zamasu.
Ooh, when he first did the Hakkai.
Wow and cool
Goku getting pissed off when he found out that Zamasu killed Goten and Chi-Chi and rushing them better be at least B tier.
Versus Goku and Goku Black and Zamasu versus Goku from episode 57.
Oh, you put it in C?
Solid fights overall. I really love how Goku caught Trunks' sword attack again to prove to him that he's got what it takes to save his timeline. A nice nod to their first meeting back in Z, I think. Also, Goku's fight with Krillin, while short, tells a nice story of
that was
the
funny.
gap between that bout and Krillin's eventual clash with the ghosts from his past. It's a surprisingly emotional story.
No tambourine.
To this day, think back to Krillin lamenting that he's not like Goku. Which leaves just 8 fights left in the arc, higher than the midpoint C tier. Now, I think I can mostly lay that
here we go.
of this arc having way too much.
Yeah, this moment right here is B tier at least. I don't care.
That middle part is rough to get through. Well, okay, actually, the ending sucks also, but you get my point. B tier has 2 entries.
It ain't as satisfactory as you would like it to be.
Black round 2. And
Oh, okay.
Goku versus Fuse Zamasu. I'm so sick
That is
of
B
saying
tier.
Goku and Zamasu. These fights are so fun. Goku versus Zamasu in Black is classic cool guy Goku, but my favorite between
Yeah.
to be Goku no-handsing Fuse Zamasu after an earth-shattering full power Kamehameha. Which brings us to A tier, and we have 4 entries for this.
Okay.
Let's get the non-controversial ones out of the way first. Goku
Non-controversial.
versus Goku Black from episode 50 is so bright and fun compared to all the others. I love the crisp artwork and the choreography is really solid considering how badly the studio was struggling at this moment in time. Also, with Goku Black blasting the time machine, it created plenty of tension to enjoy.
Yeah, sucked back through.
Vegeta versus Goku Black round 3 is from a classic Vegeta.
Beat the
bout.
brakes off that man.
Rounding off and getting his revenge on the
Held him up, hit him with the
ruined his
head,
kid's
but
life. I love this one. Conversely, Trunks versus Vegeta from episode 54 finds
you got that all the way up in A tier?
how strong it is. Having never grown up with his father, Vegeta finally
It was a fire moment.
Trunks
I didn't think we put it this high though.
that no matter how strong you think you are, you can't rest on your laurels. It's
That's a
tough
fact.
love done right, but this next one I feel is going to get me in trouble. The final A tier entry for this arc is Fuse Zamasu versus Vegeta.
Oh my god, there's no way you put this fucking fight in A tier. What? I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all watching this video also agree with me that this is definitely an S tier. Especially if you're going with moments. The return of Vegito. Come on, man. Then he goes Super Saiyan Blue, fights Fuse Zamasu. We see all his classic moves. He brings out the Spirit Sword, does the final Kamehameha. Like, come on, man. I guess it's non-satisfactory because he didn't actually get to beat him. He defused. That was kind of ass, but nah, bro. The bit of the fight that we did get is S tier in my personal opinion, bro. But, you know, if he thinks it's A tier, let's hear his reason why.
It's a really fun fight, but it just didn't hit the
animation was delicious.
in terms of story or animation. A tier is still super strong regardless, and final Kamehameha is sick as all hell. And finally, we have
You didn't even give it that much of
there
an
are 2
explanation.
fights from this
I
arc
disagree.
that reach that for me. The first is Goku Black versus Trunks from episode 47 and 48.
Okay.
This is up there as the single greatest villain entrance to the series.
It was.
Fake out kills my.
It was, bro. Like, it was. Like, that. If your jaw wasn't on the floor, if you already didn't know what was about to happen, bro, when you was watching that, then I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, bro. When it faded away and it showed Goku standing there, and again, just before we knew what the fuck a Goku Black was, we like, what the fuck? Goku? This nigga he's evil? Like in Trunks' time, this is the alternate time where Goku was evil? Bro, this shit was crazy, bro. Obviously, that's not what it turned out to be, but she was wild.
Single greatest villain entrance to the series.
Then you get to hear Sean Schemmel talking like as an evil Goku voice.
Into the past, creating even more tension.
Why did he adopt a little British accent when he went Rose?
To end, and it is for me up there alongside Raditz versus Goku and Piccolo as one of the all-time best intro fights to any arc in the series.
Okay.
Finally, we have Goku and Trunks versus Zamasu and Goku Black. From a tension standpoint, it ticks all the boxes. Black reveals he has pink hair.
That shit was crazy when he was Rose.
And reveals that he's immortal. Vegeta is down for the count. Plus, the choreography and animation for this one is stellar across the board.
Yeah.
Satoshi Shida, thank you very much.
I always find it dope how Dragon Ball Super would just bring in well-known, well-renowned animators for certain episodes. Like, yeah, hey, bro, this episode needs to look great. Come on in and you help us. We want Cho Touch on this goddamn episode. I love how they do that. And here we go, y'all. The Universe Survival arc. One of the most iconic arcs in all of Dragon Ball, in my personal opinion. I don't know if it's still too early to say that. I feel like Dragon Ball Super has been done with for like 10 plus years at this point, or 10 years. I'm saying it now, bro. The Universe Survival arc, the Tournament of Power, God tier arc, bro, out of all the Dragon Ball arcs. I know some of y'all might say that's blasphemous. You gonna put the Tournament of Power up there with the likes of the Cell arc, the Frieza arc. First of all of Dragon Ball Z is iconic. But yeah, Tournament of Power is up there with it, in my opinion.
The Universe Survival portion is the final segment on this list that has any semblance of
so many goddamn fights. It's gonna be crazy.
Let's begin with bottom tier, and oh boy, there's a lot of them. Of the
I guess you could split it in half. Universe,
Power,
yeah, Universe Survival and Tournament of Power.
It's minor stuff like Goku versus some carjackers and other.
That was a dope little moment.
And scenes. In terms of E tier,
hey, 17.
6 to be exact.
Reason Goku exchanging punches, lightning surprise.
In some cases, just plain old bad. Stuff like Roshi and Co. versus the Phantom enemies with
this whole little
minor showcases.
Part of the episodes was like, all right,
not very good. That Roshi episode specifically even got a complaint filed against it. Again,
damn.
You want the full list to bottom tier and E tier in this section?
Okay.
Moving swiftly along, we have 6 more for D tier. They include Goku versus Toppo, Boo versus Goku, because I was simply not expecting Skinny Boo to be as funny looking as he did, and 17 versus Goku, Goku versus Whis, Kalba and Cauliflower versus Kale, and finally, those 2 punches Goku
them punches exchange
upon his arrival to Earth.
Yeah.
C tier turns things up even farther, and the first 3 fights
Boo versus Lavender
in there were the preliminary tournament bouts.
No, that was Basil.
Basil, Lavender, and Bergamo. Each of these fights
Lavender's that one, yeah, with the poison.
Enjoy and a different dynamic to focus on. Boo's dominance, Gohan's strategy and lacking ability, and Goku's reputation. They each made their respective fights both entertaining and distinct. Furthermore, Gohan's training fights were interesting too, with Gohan versus Krillin acting.
Just as an aside, I think everyone's forgot that Bergamo even had that little ability. So when he gets damaged, he can absorb the damage and get bigger, because they don't represent it anywhere in either of the games that he's in Xenoverse 2 nor Spark and Zero. They don't represent that ability at all. They could have gave him a giant form. Something, you know what I'm saying? They don't do it.
Distinct. Furthermore, Gohan's training fights were interesting too, with Gohan versus Krillin acting as the vehicle that demonstrates Gohan's got a lot to learn still. Piccolo versus Gohan acting as the foil that uplifts his character from where it once was.
Yeah.
Gohan and Piccolo versus Goku and Tenshinhan acting as the payoff for that training. All of these are easy C-tier candidates for me. Coming in at B tier, we have 1 fight. Goku.
Bro, so many people was mad at this fight.
Android 18, technically. I love this fight. I like the choreography, the environment, the weather, and I love how it ends with 18 backing up her husband by reinforcing that this is a team battle, not a solo effort. Power scaling be damned. Next up is A tier.
Okay, so on the power scaling topic, everyone was mad because Super Saiyan Blue Goku was having a beam struggle with Krillin, and they were seeming to be slightly equal. Goku had the slight edge maybe, but it's like, bro, Krillin had already said that he wanted to know what it was like to fight against Super Saiyan Blue. He already expressed that to Goku. Goku was pretty much doing his friend a favor. And have y'all forgotten that even when characters transform, they still have control over their power. So just because Goku was in Super Saiyan Blue doesn't mean that that was a max power Kamehameha. So come on, man. Like, Goku was holding back, like he always does, to make Krillin feel good. That's what that is. That's all that was supposed to be. That's not meant to be used as a moment to try to power scale Krillin to Super Saiyan Blue. That's not what he was holding back. Goku was holding back. He always holds back. He does it against literal enemies. Why wouldn't he do it against Krillin? And Goku's a liar. He's a capper. He will say that I'm going all out and then not actually go all out. Come on, man. Y'all know this.
Team battle, not a solo.
I don't know why the community got in such a tizzy over this moment.
Next up is A tier.
But anyway, don't fight.
Entry again. Gohan versus
A tier. Ooh, that Gohan versus Goku.
On top of this being a beautiful episode, it serves to introduce
Yes.
Gohan's character back into the fold as someone who has grown more responsible than he has
Yes, sir.
during his his own strength in the past. I would have put this
Just to forget about this whole little moment and get weak again as the premise. Okay, so can we stop? Can we stop with this thing with Gohan, bro? Like the whole little trope of Gohan trains again, gets super duper strong. It becomes amongst the strongest characters. And then there's a little bit of peace and Gohan just stops caring about fighting and staying strong and, you know, gets weak again. Can we stop that trope? That shit is ass. It was cool the first couple of times. First of all, it made sense following the Cell arc, going into the Buu arc. It made sense for that to happen. It's like, okay, it happened. And then following Buu leading into Dragon Ball Super, okay, sure, another time, even though it was disappointing another time. But then they did it again. Like after the Tournament of Power, he has no reason to ever feel that way again. Shit keeps happening. And then he got weak again for a superhero. Stop. That's enough. We don't need Gohan getting weak again just to get him stronger no more. Like that shit is old, it's dried up. Cut it out.
Into S tier had this happened in the story
God damn.
earlier, but as it stands, it just feels more like correcting in the
This fight was fucking fire though.
the story, if that makes sense. And now our final entry before we dive into the Tournament of Power. Frieza and Goku versus the Assassins from episode 95, and I am putting that into S tier.
S tier, okay.
I didn't think I'd be putting this into S tier until I revisited it, and man,
I gotta watch this fight again because S tier
seriously authentic and
seems kind of crazy.
Characterization from Frieza. It also positions him as this wild.
Yeah, he tanked the Orb of Destruction and smacked
Is he
Goku with
going
it.
to betray his universe? Can we trust him? And on top of that, the action is fittingly twisted and dark.
But we thought Frieza was gonna betray niggas the entire Tournament of Power.
Oh man, that fight sure was amazing, but you know what it wasn't more amazing than? This damn cool
Hey, support the homie, bro.
the Tournament of Power.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is where this list turns into bullshit, and to prove my point, I will ask a simple question to you folks at home.
Okay.
Can you tell me who this is? Or heck, what about this guy?
I remember him.
I didn't think so.
I don't know the
The first
names.
one is Nink and the second one is Comfrey, by the way. And that's the issue I'm running into with the Tournament of Power. Practically every scene you can think of has other fighters like Nink fighting people like Comfrey in the background. Because this all takes place in less than
They were trying to give everybody their little shine. I get it, but god damn, there was a whole bunch of boring ass fights that we straight up don't care about in the Tournament of Power, bro. When it got to peak, it was peak, but before that, yeah, that shit was dry.
50 minutes. There's no telling which fights are new and which are old. This is all to say that we can go one of two ways with this. We could take my limited but still extensive list that I have right now, or I could rank the entire Tournament of Power like I did the final of the World Martial Arts Tournament from the Buu Saga, because if you think about it, this one too is a free-for-all.
You're looking at it as technically one big
So if you
fight.
have an issue with it, take it up with Nink and his friends, I guess. But okay, let's talk numbers. I counted 241 fights.
241 fights.
Classic Dragon Ball.
God
and
damn.
Z, Battle of Gods and Resurrection F combined. But here's
Hell
the kicker,
no.
right? Over 120 are bottom tier. Another
Wow.
32 are E tier, which means 66% of the Tournament of Powers fights aren't worth discussing.
That was
today.
bound to
As
happen,
a
though.
Massive fan of
You couldn't really do anything about that.
if you are. Well, actually, no, there is one fight worth talking about. Vegeta versus Toppo lands in E
Ooh.
tier for me, and I know that
E
was
tier?
ruffling feathers, perhaps. But
What?
It's there for the same reason I hated Piccolo's sacrifice in Resurrection F. It is cheap and vapid. I mean, Vegeta pulling the sacrifice card again? Absolutely not. But yeah, if you want my full bottom
Why though? Like why? That shit was a fire ass moment, and then him surviving it this time. Nah, bro. I don't know. See, yeah, it's like I get where he coming from, but I just can't agree.
tier or E tier list. It's too long to put on screen now, so I'll just chuck it into the community tab after the video goes live. Moving on, it is D tier time, and finally we have some substance. 19 fights that actually tell stories and hold interest. Wow. Universe 9's early elimination, Roshi earning Vegeta's respect, Goku mentoring the Universe 6 Saiyans, and Krillin channeling early Dragon Ball energy through throwing his shoe onto Majora's nose.
Facts.
It really does feel like a perfect callback to the back.
Remember when he farted that old boy face during the tournament?
Plus, we got our first real taste of Jiren's threat level when he bodies Hit and Majikayo respectively. And for those interested in the full D tier list,
One punch is stupid ass.
now, concerning Jiren, there's actually two reasons why I'm sort of focusing in on and granting points for his show of force and strength. Number one, it is literally 98% of his character, so it's important. And number two, the Tournament of Power is less a story and more of a sporting event, really. Sure, I am bummed as all of you that they ditched Goku's Reputation Crisis plotline, but treating this like a sports tournament created something kind of magical. I mean,
Okay.
just look at Latin America's reaction to this. This was like
Yeah.
WrestleMania main event rolled into one. And so I think it's fitting then that C tier and beyond is filled with fights capturing the best moments of our home team. Except for Krillin and Ten Shinhan. Tough luck, guys.
Get them boys up out of there.
The Tournament of Power C tier has 11 fights, of which highlights include Goku mentoring Caulifla, the unlikely Goku hit team up.
That was fire.
127's
And he showed if he can switch back and forth.
Goku, Vegeta, and Frieza struggle against Jiren.
Yeah.
Frieza's rage-fueled charge or 17's refusal to quit, these moments perfectly set the stage. Plus, Gohan's humanity moment with Obne, Roshi's Mafuba clutch play, Vegeta exploding against Frost, and Frieza being an absolute wild card. It's all good stuff. And keeping the
got Frost stupid ass out of there.
To B tier, and we have two Frieza-centric bangers: Frieza versus Gohan.
I loved this moment.
And Frieza and Gohan versus Dispo. Concerning episode 108,
hey, Dispo was a problem for a little bit.
Through characterization, Frieza turning on Gohan for strategy reminded me of why he's my tournament MVP, and it's in close competition, guys. And when Gohan
Frieza the MVP for sure.
With Dispo's battle against Frieza has zero.
Aside from Goku, obviously.
Him the sacrificial lamb that he wants to be. It is a superbly strong character dynamic on show. Now, as we move on to A tier, the emotional heavy hitters take center stage. Roshi versus Ganos or
dog, this whole little moment right here, the speech leading up to his Kamehameha, and then the man almost died. Goku had to literally restart this man's heart. Yo, that moment was so fucking fire, bro. I still be rewatching that moment every now and again.
Pronounce it. To this day is the single strongest emotional character beat in Super for me. Roshi's final message to his pupils still resonates, and more than that, remains an important fixture of Goku's philosophy to this day. Piccolo and Gohan versus the Universe 6.
Yeah, that was fire too.
Full circle
from the Namekians.
Saga. I've spoken on this a ton, but this is how you build off of Piccolo's original sacrifice against Nappa. Not by rehashing it again, but by demonstrating visually that the little kid he sought to protect all those years ago has become a capable protector in his own right.
Yeah.
Also in A tier is Android 17 and Frieza versus Toppo. I've included this purely because Frieza was an absolute menace and it was entertaining as all hell.
Bro, when he was crushing his head, that shit was scary.
And finally, Vegeta versus Jiren, episode 127. There's no other
That's where he landed that punch, ain't it?
Refusing to stay down while everyone else is beaten, then entrusting everything he has left in his life to Goku.
Get him in that power.
Which brings us to S tier, and within the section we
we got big S tier. There's still a lot of minutes left in this video. But basically pretty much all the Ultra Instinct shit, all the Kefla shit, you know what I'm saying?
5 absolute classics. So let's
5
put them in order of appearance. Number 1, Goku versus Jiren, round 1. This is peak Goku spectacle.
Facts.
Transformations, testing Jiren's abilities, Spirit Bomb backfirings, Ultra Instinct awakenings. Even Beerus is
he's kind of all that.
Every
There's one fight.
from the cold look Goku
nothing wrong with it.
Jiren to his face to Jiren's genuine surprise when Goku leverages Kaioken to escape early on.
Yeah.
It makes this fight feel powerful and huge. Number 2, Goku and Vegeta versus Jiren from episode 122. This is Vegeta's finest hour in the tournament, I believe. Instead of throwing a tantrum due to being dismissed by Jiren, who
that's where he landed that punch.
Vegeta stays calm.
Yeah, slip through, boom,
and delivers the tournament. Perhaps even the best final.
Stop playing with that
The
man.
entire series. The way he consciously goads Jiren into taking the blast head-on feels reminiscent of the strategic Vegeta we left behind following the.
Hell yeah, they pretty much use those lines for all his final flashes now. Also, I'm blanking on the author's name, but they got old boy to come back and do the illustration for this episode too. You can see it right here.
Number 3, Goku versus Jiren round 2. With episode 130
when he landed that first strike, Jiren finally showed himself getting hurt.
These installments chronicle the enormously cathartic beatdown of the up until then insurmountable Jiren.
Yeah.
It's got mastered Ultra Instinct, so yeah, it's got that going for it too.
Shit was fire.
Frieza and 17 versus Jiren. Some of you might be surprised that this is here, but when Frieza's smug face emerged to save Goku along
this shit was fire.
17, oh, you lost it. It is peak Frieza and the single best supporting fight of the entire arc.
Is he blanking on the Kefla shit? Am I tripping? Did he put that shit lower tier? I don't remember him saying anything about it. He might have put it in one of the super lower tiers. Why?
Is that
I don't know why he did that.
Go back to watch it.
Unless I'm tripping.
And finally,
Y'all tell me.
number 5,
Come on now.
Goku, Frieza.
Universe 7's final stand.
Versus Jiren. This is the best fight in
Iconic.
Dragon Ball Super, and for me, it's not even remotely close. There's no flashy transformations, no crazy convoluted techniques. It is just grit, determination, an enormous amount of fatigue, and two mortal enemies working together, barely able to sustain their current power level.
Yeah.
Perfect ending, and
He was trying to squeeze that shit out.
Dragon Ball Super Broly.
Oh, okay, got to the movies.
Our
That's why it's
two
time
movies
left.
left to cover. So let's do this. Broly is a great movie that I very much enjoy, and it has 4 bottom tier fights to log.
I've probably watched this movie like at least a dozen times, probably more. The movie is so peak.
Those are Paragus versus Kid Broly. It's a
Head ass.
Vegeta versus some Frieza Force soldiers in a spaceship. Whis versus Broly, and the Frieza Force versus an alien planet at the very end. There's nothing wrong with any of these, they just can't be ranked any higher. Next is E tier, and we have in here Paragus and Beats versus some alien spiders once they arrive on Vampa. Broly versus Ba in his flashback. Paragus versus Ba in that flashback also.
Bogus as hell.
Versus a Frieza Force soldier that was giving Chile a hard time.
He's gonna kill that man.
Ranked these higher is that they pull double duty. While the fights themselves are nothing really to look at, they serve to either introduce more character in the case of the flashbacks with Ba, or establish the environmental threats with Paragus and Beats. Moving on to D tier, these include Paragus versus Beats, Paragus versus Broly, Shock Collar, Frieza versus Paragus, Frieza versus some Saiyan snipers in the first scene.
Frieza a dickhead, bro.
Versus Vegeta training.
Yeah.
Here because they represent quick but shocking crucial.
I'd have put a C tier for the iconism, but
fan of action and combat facilitating story, and these do that beautifully. Goku and Vegeta dipping and leaving Frieza to pick up the pieces with Broly never stopped
to whoop his ass.
And yeah, Goku versus Vegeta is there only because I had to put it somewhere, and E felt a little too low. C tier is where I want to put the most impactful moment of the series. Frieza versus Planet.
Yeah, man.
Bardock fades into
Look at Bardock. Did my boy dirty.
This moment is stunning and huge, and I wouldn't change a thing about it. Hopping straight into B tier, we have Frieza versus Broly.
Okay.
This fight is used as a comedic backdrop or cutaway device to facilitate the botched fusion attempts of Goku and Vegeta. I'm so thankful this happened because these fusion botches have been done to death, and using these failures not as punchlines anymore, but as consequences that prolong Frieza's own punishment was an ingenious decision.
That was a good decision.
Fights of this film all go into S tier. Vegeta versus Broly is every Vegeta fan's wet dream come true, and the way we hear Vegeta's internal.
Bro, this whole fight was just fucking crazy, bro. From the animation to the transformations to the way that they made them, like, actually have to push transformations out like they used to instead of just like popping into them. Like, and I hope they pretty much been keeping that trend. It seemed like they need to keep it just like that. Yeah, bro. Vegeta versus Broly, Goku versus Broly, and then Gogeta versus Broly. Obviously, basically just all the Broly fights are obviously all S tier.
Vegeta versus Broly is every Vegeta fan's wet dream come true, and the way we hear Vegeta's internal monologue and thought process was extremely refreshing. Also, seeing Paragus react to Vegeta's Super Saiyan transformation was brilliant. Goku versus Broly takes a different approach though. While extremely well animated in its own right, this fight leans into Goku's humanity as he tries to reason with Broly once he notices he's not in his right mind anymore. And finally, Gogeta versus Broly.
Come on now.
Where I might not be enthralled by the fusion itself, but from an animation standpoint, this is a high point of the film.
This shit is peak Dragon Ball.
Animated fight in all of Dragon Ball, and interestingly, positions Gogeta almost as a point of dread towards the end as Chile races against the clock to save Broly from his own wrath. Dragon Ball Super, superhero.
All right, superhero.
We've reached the dumb.
Hold on, what did I say? Hold on, my bad, y'all.
Dragon Ball.
I forgot Dragon Ball had a super attached at the end or something like that, and I don't remember at this point. Yeah, that was some bullshit. Dragon Ball superhero, like, all right, bro.
Superhero. Finally,
this has been called Dragon Ball Superhero.
And with it, we have 2 bottom tier entries. Dr. Hedo versus the prison, and yeah, I guess that counts.
Oh, I guess that counts.
Gamma 2. It is a blink and you miss it moment, which is why it is here. In E tier, we have.
Oh yeah, because he just kicked him away.
Pan versus Piccolo training. This is a really cute exchange, and I love seeing Pan getting to actually progress and do stuff. It just can't go any higher than this.
Now that all these years have passed, have y'all like stopped being sour on the animation for this movie, or not being completely 2D animated? Because I like the way it looked even when it first came out. But, you know, a lot of people was talking down on it.
Next up is D tier, and we have Goku.
The character models do look a little funny sometimes, but that's all right.
Red Ribbon Army soldier that tries to pick her up at school. Gohan versus Gamma 1. Pan and Gamma 2 versus Carmine. And finally, Magenta versus Dr. Hedo. When it comes to the
I'm about to put the Gohan one stage up.
Element carried by the reveal that Vegeta finally defeated Goku, but in my mind, Goku never really really defeated Vegeta, so I'm not falling for that propaganda. Pan's knockout of a Red
Right.
Ribbon Army soldier is hilarious, and her defeat of Carmine alongside Gamma 2 is
Yeah.
Similarly, Magenta versus Dr. Hedo is executed comedically well, with the linchpin being a callback to the robot Fly introduced at the very beginning of the film. It's a nice payoff. And to round things off, we have Gohan versus Gamma 1 there because I just thought it was a decent exchange. Nothing amazing, but it did enough to get here.
I wonder if he's gonna say, you know what, I'm not even gonna reveal it. If he says it, I'll let y'all know. I'm gonna let y'all know either way. But there's a certain fight that y'all might think is S tier that I might not put up there. We're gonna see.
Now, potentially controversial, I am placing the following into C tier from the film. Piccolo versus Gamma 2, round 1. The Gamma,
Okay.
Piccolo, Gohan, Trunks, Goten, and 18 versus Cell Max, and Gohan, Piccolo, Gotenks, Krillin, and 18 versus Cell Max. That's the Beast Gohan one. Acting as the introductory fight to the Gammas.
Wait a minute, after he already transformed? It is, huh? Okay. So that's what I was gonna say. I wasn't gonna say C tier though. I was gonna say like B, possibly even A. That was one of the moments where it really wasn't much to the fight. Like most of the struggle and crazy shit happened before the transformation. Once Gohan transformed, it was just like he was shitting on Cell. It wasn't nothing Cell could do at that point. So the fight didn't really get crazy. Don't get it twisted. From a moment standpoint, it was fire. But just looking at the fight, I can't put that in S tier. You know what I'm saying? It was easy work after he transformed.
Piccolo versus Gamma 2 communicates Piccolo's strategic mindset very well while managing to establish Gamma.
I wouldn't put it down as C though, like he doing.
Both
B or A.
dialogue and combat. I enjoyed this quite a lot. However, I cannot say the same for the two Cell Max fights. While they pick up points for the amount of time dedicated to them and some cute character exchanges, they are for me the weakest of the canon fights that form a climax in the modern series. Moving on to B tier, we have Piccolo versus Gamma 2.
Okay.
And I love the new Piccolo design.
Orange
The
Piccolo.
dynamic between these two is very entertaining and the execution feels quite polished. And with that, we have our final fight of the film, and it's going into S tier. And that fight is Cell Max versus Gamma 2. For me,
Yo.
the emotional high point of the film, and
It was fire. The animation.
surprising instance also. Having
Yeah.
known nothing of these characters prior to this film, Akira Toriyama managed to establish a story where an android designed to believe it's a hero is forced to contend with the dubious acts that he's been manipulated into performing. But in a moment of genuine heroism, Gamma 2 doesn't hesitate to sacrifice his own life in order to save.
They gotta bring the boy
It's a
back, man. They got to.
powerful moment and should have been
Hedo's still out here.
climax instead of whatever the hell Beast Gohan ended up being. And that is every fight ranked. Well, okay. except
Okay.
For Daima. But I had a thought, right? Instead
Daima
of
separate video?
those now, let's see if any surprise entries crash my top 20 video next week. Will
Oh.
Daima make the cut? Find out when I rank the greatest Dragon Ball fights
Look
of
at him.
all time. Once again, be sure to check out Silver and Blood Requiem if you're looking for a
All right, man. We're gonna go ahead and end that right there. You know what I'm saying? Yo, okay. So we were kind of aligned with a lot of the fights. Again, Super has so many fights in it that for a lot of the arcs, he just had to be like, yeah, these 30 fights, they're on the screen. These are all ass tier. Let me get to the good shit. But for the most part, the good shit that I think would be the good shit, he put it there too. So it's like, I ain't mad at it. Then the ones that I thought were a little controversial, I told you my opinions on those. Like, yeah, and I guess I had a controversial one too. It might not be that controversial, to be honest, if you really think about it. With the Beast Gohan, we're not necessarily being S tier moment, but at the same time, everybody don't even agree with that either. Depending on who you talk to, I guess. But yo, Dragon Ball Super has so many goddamn fights, bruh. That shit is wild. 241 in the Tournament of Power alone. Hey, shout out to him for having the patience, because I wouldn't have been able to do that shit. But yeah, I guess he ain't doing one separate for Daima, so we're gonna have to watch that other video, the top 20, and see how he ranks those and see if Daima slips through the cracks and makes it into one of those. I'm gonna be checking that out. I don't know exactly when, but it will be coming. In the meantime, between time, though, y'all can leave me suggestions down below in the comment section. And for this long ass video, man, y'all should drop a like on your boy if you watched it all the way to the end. I got a code. Say the word lotion in the comment section. Say lotion down in the comments and let me know you made it all the way to the end of the video, and I'll give you a thumbs up and a cookie. Make sure y'all show a lot of love to the video, like, share, and subscribe. Till next time, we about it this thing. It's your boy Dairu, we signing out. Peace.